Hello, I'm Bryan Scheidler, CEO of Good Nerd Bad Nerd Games and one of the creators behind the Treasure of Montecristo Island. The Treasure of Montecristo Island is a co-op adventure survival game with crafting. You and your fellow band of adventurers have come to the island of Montecristo in order to find the legendary treasure. In order to do this, you have to explore the island, gather resources, craft items, and eventually you need to craft 4 altars and light them. These altars are crafted at the 4 monasteries and chapels around the island. And once all 4 are lit at the same time, the treasure will be revealed. The treasure is in a unique location every time you play the game, so you will never know where it's going to end up. But in order to do this, you have to survive, you have to work together, and you have to avoid the dangers of the island and a roaming thief. The thief is an NPC with rules that dictate how it moves, which direction it moves. If there's ever a question about which path it's going to take, it will always be spelled out in the rules, and the thief is going to be coming after you relentlessly. The order of play follows a day-night cycle. In the morning, you and the rest of your team of adventurers will get to use your action points in the order of play. So whoever's first will make their move and gather food, water, different resources. And then once everyone has had their turn, it moves on to the afternoon. And this is when the thief gets to move. The thief has 4 action points and they will move directly towards the closest player. If 2 players are the same distance away, both players roll, and whoever rolls the lowest, that is the thief's intended target. If there are 2 paths the thief can take that are the same distance to their target, you'll roll to see which way the thief will move. This way you are not choosing the best path for the thief to take. After the thief has moved, it's now mealtime and dusk. And this means that every player, regardless of how they're doing with health or anything like that, must eat and drink. All player cards have a food meter, a water meter, and then the health and action points meter. At mealtime, everyone must consume a food and water. If you don't have it in your inventory, it must come from your sliders. If you have no food or water left, you lose 1 health, and your character may start to lose action points. The more health you lose, the bigger of an obstacle this becomes because you lose action points and you're not able to do as much each turn. After mealtime, after all players have resolved and eaten and drinking or used something out of their inventory, it is now evening. And this is when the evening fate comes into play. The evening fate deck is something that could be a benefit to the team, it could be a detriment. The entire team could be impacted, just a few players, or just 1 player. Some of the cards are benefits, like I said. You can get +1 health or plus resources, food, water, stone. All of the resources have a card in here, and these will impact everyone. On the other hand, there are also cards that will impact you negatively. Like I said, there's an earthquake, which impacts the entire island. All players take damage. Food spoiling. Now this card impacts a specific compass area of the map. On the map, you'll notice that it's divided into the 4 quadrants, north, south, east, and west, based on the texture of the map. And you determine which area is impacted by using the compass dice. And you'll notice on the card, it does show a compass symbol. This is a way to indicate that you use the compass dice. And you roll it south. Any player in the south at this point would be impacted and they would lose any food they had in their inventory plus 1 food out of their meter. And then there are other cards that impact only a single player, and this always is indicated by the D6 die. Whichever character rolls the lowest, they are the one that is affected. And there are things like losing water and the dreaded diarrhea, where a player loses a turn. But then there's also 1 type of card in the deck that is a double-edged sword, and that is the Evening Rain. And this uses the compass dice, and it impacts 1 quadrant of the map. Whoever happens to be in the quadrant that's rolled, in this case we have a player up here in the north, and north gets rolled. Any players in that north quadrant would immediately have their water meter completely refilled. So that's great. But you'll notice we also have a lit altar in this area, and that altar now is extinguished. So before the location of the treasure can be revealed, this altar does need to be relit. There are 4 evening rain cards in the deck, and as you get closer to victory, and you know some of them haven't come out yet, it becomes a ticking time clock that you are working against in order to prevent your lit altars from being extinguished. One of the things we wanted with this game in order to make it highly replayable and give a lot of variety was that each of the characters were unique. And there are 6 different character classes in the game for you to choose from or to play as. There's the captain, the crew, the muscle, the stowaway, the scout, and the anthropologist. Each character has a unique ability that changes the gameplay based on which characters are in the game and based on who's using it. The different abilities are either a good starting bonus or a skill that works throughout the game. The crew member, they don't start with any skill per se, but they immediately start with a spear. A spear is one of the tools you can craft in order to gather food faster. Anytime you cross over a green triangle on the board, you're automatically given one of these triangles of food. If you have the spear, you are given double food. The next character, the muscle. The muscle is, as you can imagine, very strong and can hold the most amount of materials from the very beginning. In addition to that, they also start with an axe. An axe is another tool you can craft. This gives you double resources at wood, stone, and coal. So right away they can gather a lot of resources. The problem with that is they are very slow and they don't start with as many action points as any of the other players. And as soon as they're losing health and those action points go down, it becomes a big obstacle for them to get over. The next we have is the scout. Now, on the opposite side of the coin from the muscle, the scout is the fastest character in the game with the most action points. The scout, though, is limited in its carrying capacity because they can't be weighed down by a lot of materials, and they only have 6 inventory spaces, and they are not allowed to expand that at any point. The third tool you can create that can be carried around by players is a satchel. Any of the other characters can carry a satchel, but the scout is the only one that can't because it would be too much weight for them to maintain the speed they need in order to move at as quickly as they do. The next character is the stowaway. The stowaway gets their benefits at the chapels and monasteries. The chapels and monasteries offer a lot of perks to players, including if you end your turn there, you can get +1 health or +1 food and water. You can trade resources there at a 3-to-1 rate, so 3 of any resource to get 1 of another. Or you can take a ferry ride from one chapel or monastery to an adjacent chapel or monastery. You can do that for 3 resources of your choice, and it's a great way to get around the map quickly. The stowaway gets to do that free once per turn. So, doesn't matter where they are, they can hop. And again, this is a great way for them to get around the map, and then since they can do it for free, it's a even better way for them to get away from the thief, to move the treasure if that's what they've got and they need to get it back to the boat, or just to get around the map to an area that they need to be at. The anthropologist. The anthropologist, being good with people, they get the trading benefit that everyone does at the monasteries and chapels, but they get it at a rate of 2-to-1. And this becomes a huge advantage later in the game, especially if they have an axe, because with the axe, getting those double resources, you are always going to be getting at least 2, possibly 4 resources, which makes trading them very beneficial, especially with that 2-to-1 rate. And then the last character we have is the captain. When you're moving around the island as a team, it's important to work together. And part of that is understanding how you can get resources from one player to another. As long as players are on the same space, any one player may give resources to another. You may not take them from another player's inventory. The only player that can do that is the captain. So the captain is very good at getting resources from one player to another on their turn because they do have the flexibility of giving and taking resources. All of these different characters add and their different abilities add a huge amount of depth and replayability to the game. And when you're playing, you do get to pick your favorite style for each character. Their character cards have a front and back, which allows you to pick which version you want to play. Each character has a unique name and backstory, and all of the stories work together to create a very unique group of adventurers. With that, the question just is, how is the treasure revealed? Once all 4 altars are lit, it is now time to reveal the treasure. To reveal the treasure, you use these 2 dice, the compass dice, which we mentioned earlier, and the resource die. The resource die and the compass die in conjunction will tell you which area of the map the coin will appear. So if we roll it, let's just say it landed north and on wood. That means the coin would appear in this north area on the wood resource. Once it's there, it's now a race. Everyone needs to get that coin and get back to your ship up here in the north before the thief can get it or steal it from you and get it back to their ship in the south. If the thief gets it to their boat first, you lose. If you get it to your boat and all of your team is back on the ship together, you win. It's that easy. But people wanted more. As we were beta testing the game, a lot of people were having a great time, but they wanted to play as the thief. And that takes us to the expansion pack, the Thief and the Purple Sapphire. Now, the expansion pack picks up right where the base game let off. All 4 altars are lit. The monks of the island have seen that you are a noble band of adventurers, and they have told you about a second treasure on the island. The first treasure, you have found the gold coin, but now they would like you to find the purple sapphire. And this is another item you need to find. You have to craft new elements in order to do that. First, you have to craft reflecting discs, and these need to be built on the lit altars. Now, fortunately, the altars start lit, but they can be extinguished. Remember, there are those evening rain cards. Once they are lit and have their reflecting mirror discs on them, you need to build the staff. And you need to bring the staff to the top of the mountain, and this will reveal the location of the gem. But it's not just that easy. Like I said, people really wanted to play as the thief. So now the thief is a playable character. And just like every other character in the game, they have to be aware of their food and water and health. But since it's potentially a 6-on-1 game, we needed to give the thief some advantages, because the thief has their own tasks that they are trying to accomplish, but they get to hide everything they're doing behind this shield. So the thief, coming to the island in order to find this new gem, came in a little rough and their ship got damaged. So before they can find the treasure and escape, they need to gather resources in order to repair their ship. But that gets hidden behind here, so none of the other players get to see how well the thief is doing. But that's not enough. The thief needs some help, some advantages, and in order to do that, we've added new Evening Fate cards into the deck. Now, these Evening Fate cards only work for the thief. What these are traps. Rope traps, poison, bear traps, and the thief, once these are drawn, gets these tokens that they can place anywhere on the island in order to assist in their quest to defeat the players. In addition to that, they also have the ability to kidnap a player, and that pulls them out of the game for a few turns unless they're rescued by another player. They get locked at the thief's ship, and they can also sabotage chapels and monasteries. If players are really taking advantage of those benefits of the +1 health or +1 food and water, a thief can come in and sabotage it and reduce the benefit of these areas. So these are all intended to help the thief even the playing field, as it were. And their thief shield, which they hide it behind, has all of their information that they need in order to properly plan for the end of the game. Now, the thief expansion, because you have an added character gathering resources, does come with additional resource cubes. And it's got, again, the unique gem piece that comes with the game. The thief also gets their own dice, so they don't have to use the same one as the crew. And like the base game, we come with the sliders and some additional sliders. So these are the two games of the Treasure of Montecristo Island and the Thief and the Purple Sapphire expansion pack. Both of them are playable from kids 10 and up, although we've played it with kids younger and they've really grasped the game really well and had a lot of fun. It takes about 90 minutes, but give or take, depending on how well you're rolling. And it's $60 for the base game and $40 for the expansion pack. If you have any questions or if there's anything else you want to learn about the game, head over to montecristogame.com. We have more information there, pictures of the game, and the rule books are up there that you can read through and check out all the characters, including their backstories and things like that. So, hope you enjoyed and can't wait to see you on the island of Monte Cristo. My name is Bryan Scheidler. Thank you.